So where do you start a story like this? It spans from the 60s all the way till today. And I thought about it, and I thought, let's start it at a really abundant time, a time that things were going really good. My dad had been a struggling musician. Our parents were divorced when we were really young. So when I was heading into middle school, my father had got a record deal and moved from Half Moon Bay, California, down to Santa Barbara, California. And me and both of my brothers moved in and lived with my dad and his wife at the time, our stepmother, Marta. So the movie starts off with one of my father's music videos for a song called Alpha Rock. It was the only song and music video he got on TV. It was on VH1 in the late 80s. Because of YouTube's policies, I had to put a different audio track underneath it so it's not quite matched up, but it gives you an idea. So what I thought I would do is I would show you what I have right now for the beginning, a little introduction of the different people involved, and kind of set the stage for the story a little bit. The late 80s were an abundant time. It seemed like life was really coming together. After being a struggling musician for many years, my dad finally got a record deal. He had made it. Money was flowing for the first time. All of us brothers moved in with our dad to white middle-class suburbia, Carpinteria, California. We were the odd ones out. Raised in San Diego around hippies and communes, we'd been exposed to the arts, expression, freedom, spirituality, skate culture, punk music, and rebellion. We had lived on the Mexican border, in the hood, around the gay communities, and identified with any sort of fringe culture. White suburbia came as a shock. People loved us or hated us. Our expression represented either freedom or a threat to the normalcy of the community.
What the fuck is that?
There was my dad, William, who we called Aura. Aura was the stage name he took being a new age musician. Our stepmom, Marta, my oldest brother, Chris, who was born with the hippie name Sonny, and the middle brother, Jeremiah, who preferred to be called Alex. And then there was me, the youngest, Dustin.
4 months on MTV with this exact song. This is Dustin Bradley. He doesn't know you work his own fucking camera by pushing record.
Life was active. We were creators like our father. He always had a home music studio, was a graphic designer, and was always playing with the latest computers and video gear.
This is something that's really quite an exciting story.
Chris was the prodigy musician, often writing and recording entire albums in a week. Jeremiah was overly eccentric, getting deep into computers a decade before people even knew what they were. He had a taste for Oscar Wilde, The Lord of the Rings, and would often DJ Sir Mix-a-Lot and Slick Rick on his turntables. I never appreciated the finer nuances of poetry the way my brothers did, but I loved skateboards, guitars, and video cameras. I loved special effects and always looked forward to my monthly issue of Fangoria magazine to arrive in the mail. It was always about making the next monster movie, convincing my friends Craig, Nathan, or Tony to let me torture them with fake blood and guts, whatever it took to complete my next horrific vision. Then there were the Keating girls, 3 sisters around our same age, and us 3 brothers. It was a match made in teen chaos heaven.
Hi.
I dated the youngest one accordingly.
Who's this? This is Don. 1990.
Didn't he do one of these before? And did they get him in a lot of trouble?
Hi, I would like to welcome you to my happy home. I am Tracy Kitty, aka Marsha Brady.
And I'm not completely sure, but I believe the two middle and oldest sisters and brothers may have had a few issues figuring out who was best for
Marsha,
whom.
this is Jan. Jan's is the she's the emotional problem of our family.
Alex isn't going to come tonight.
I know. That's all right.
House.
I'm not very appreciative of him anyway at this time.
And I give Julie Keating a brush for Christmas.
Their mom was the librarian at the school and also ran the theater department. I was the only one who didn't do theater, but it was always theatrics.
Can I hold this? All right, this is our oldest brother, Greg Brady. Okay, Greg, and now here, I want you to film the centerpiece of the three gorgeous Brady daughters there at the end. I think that's you.
Then there was our trusty sidekick, Matt, a boisterous personality with the height to match. We all did everything together, skating, bodyboarding, skimboarding. We made movies. There was an endless supply. All we had to do was pinch a small amount from our dad's garbage-sized bags in his studio. The hills of Toro Canyon were ripe with harvest, but I never asked any questions, nor wanted to know. My mother still lived in San Diego. I wanted to move back. I started my junior year at San Diego High School in the spring of '91. The teachers would spend the hour raising their voices trying to get kids to stop throwing paper wads or smoking weed in the back. One day after sitting for an hour watching the commotion, I just got up, walked to my old Vespa scooter, and rode home. I never went back.
Crying for salvation, but it's all too late. Time to learn a lesson about death and hate. Maybe this is where it stops suicide. There's a mark in your eye. Punch, bite, kill, die. And if you look, it is the end.
I worked on music a lot. Once Nirvana hit, the music scene was getting really big in San Diego, and I tried to get into it. But I was just never able to be really cool like everyone else.
Close your eyes. And this situation.
I think every time I tried to be cool, life would just cut me back down to size. But we had fun. One day, sitting around the house by myself, I stumbled across an old box of tapes of my mother's. They were recordings of my parents' friend. He did this thing called channeling. I put in a tape from 1978 and listened.
The concept is though of relationship is seeking the unity and the harmony that is pre-existing between as though creative polarities, not opposites, but creative polarities.
I could hear a very soft and sobering voice.
Also what is emphasized is the pre-existence. This means as though that it is a quality that exists already and indeed is part of the creative polarities. This is found, for instance, as
It was
though
a
in the
different
human
voice.
expression between the balance of male and female. This extends into human activities, such as in the conditions that exist as though in family members, such as between lovers between parents, between parent and child, through extended family.
He said his name was John.
This is also an example of the need for the restoration of the concept of sacredness in relationships.
I listened for hours as he talked about human origins, the human condition, and the mysteries of the universe. I was absolutely baffled by what I was hearing and wondered how it could be that nobody knew about this. My whole reality changed that day. So that should give you a little idea of some of the characters involved and kind of the setup for the story. And in the next video, we'll get a little deeper into it. Thanks for joining us.